Sutton away in the FA Cup. Gary, let's talk about the plastic pitch for starters. 4 days training on artificial surfaces around here, and I suppose actually you'd have been looking for artificial pitches anyway because it's been so cold. So
Yes.
good job you got the bookings in.
That's true. Turned out well actually, as far as that's concerned. And the sun has shined at the time that we needed it to shine to make the Astro pitches less slippery. And yeah, it's gone well for us, and been pleased that we've done it. We've still got another couple of sessions to go, one at Winscombe School and one at Tewkesbury. What's the name of the school?
Tewkesbury School.
Oh, it is Tewkesbury School. So we appreciate them for allowing us to do that. We've had to curtail language and make sure that we've been on our best behaviour, because there's been plenty of kids watching us train. So that's been good as well. Might not get so many bookings, but no, it's been good, as you say. So it's thanks to those two schools.
And the players have adapted, have they? There's been no Bambis on ices, so to speak.
That's my saying that. No, you're right. It's been okay. Some of them have looked more comfortable than others, I must admit. But no, I've been able to make it competitive. As I say, we've still got 2 more sessions to go. So it's been nice. All of them want to play in this game, that's for sure. I can see that because they're all making sure that it's the right footwear. They're making sure that they're showing me that they don't mind a tackle on the floor, or they don't mind throwing themselves at a block. Your goalkeepers are diving all over the place. So as far as that's concerned, I've not seen anybody that's been frightened of the surface.
And you can still play a high energy game that you want to on it, can you then?
Yeah, we hope so. You can definitely play a high energy game because that takes running. And we can do that. It's what you do with the ball within that running and within that passionate intent, if you like. So they'll have it as well, I should think, because it's a big game for them. There's been a lot of advertising for it down there, and they're hoping for almost a full gate. So what's it, highlights on BBC, is it? So it's one of them. It'll have one of them FA Cup atmospheres.
They slipped up midweek. Were you able to go and see that? If so, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I was there. To be fair, they rested 6 of their players, so it wasn't so much to go and see the team as such, although you know basically what they're trying to do because we've seen previous games anyway. But it was to see how the pitch played, and it looks a decent little facility actually. The pitch looks like you get into the game and it doesn't really feel that much different. You're certainly not looking at it and thinking that ball's bounced higher or that ball's gone through quicker. So it was getting the feel for the pitch with a tempo, whether it's a slow tempo, high tempo, what happens to the ball sort of thing, and I'm quite looking forward to it.
Harry Pell obviously back available this week after a suspension. He's told us that he knocked on your door and had a little chat. How pleased have you been with his attitude since?
His attitude's always good. The lads that we got here have got fantastic attitudes. Sometimes they're a bit inconsistent in their game, but they're all competitors. He's one, we've talked about it before, because of his size, he'd make a tackle sometimes that looks like he's the big bully in the playground. But and I think if you put together all his bookings, you'd take 5 away, in my opinion. So we need to help him show that competitiveness, but he's going to have to change his game, otherwise he's going to be losing more games if he's not careful, and he's one of our real competitors that you need to compete.
Everyone else okay this week?
Yeah, everybody that is okay. I mean, we've still got our long-term injuries, but everybody that was available Saturday's available again, other than Dan Ullman, of course, that we know has got a few weeks out.
You were very key on being up for the cup in the last round. With the third round so close, is it the same again, or is there a different message to the players, just so it's not the same old thing again?
Well, the same old thing again. Only happens if that's in your own mind. So the players are thinking, "Oh, it's this old thing again." But no, we changed their focus pretty quick. We did the review of the Cambridge game, and people were pretty honest in what they did and didn't do. And then new chapter, FA Cup's different. We had a week to prepare. Different because of the pitch, different because of the tournament. So we, I think they've been thinking about this second round in the hope that we can get through to the third round, of course, because we've done well in the cups this year. You know, we've done well in the Football League trophy, beating Charlton and having a good game up at Newcastle. The Checker Trade trophy, we're top of that league. Some decent teams in it, and we're through to the second round of the cup after a replay against Crewe. So our cup games have been good.
And it's just then a case of actually, if you can take some momentum back into the league, then that could help as well.
Well, when that comes round, that's another conversation. There's your first question for the next Thursday.
Thank you. Good luck.
No problem.
Has it been good to have a week together on the training ground? Harry was just in here telling us that he'd have loved to have played Tuesday, but in a funny way, has it been better to have the 4 training sessions to get a bit of more work and a bit of fresher minds into the players?
Yeah, I think so. I think anything that's slightly different, change. Sometimes it's a change of shape. Sometimes it's a change of personnel, where you bring a couple of new ones in, or even a couple of trialists, and everybody thinks, "Oh no, he's my position," you know, and they liven up a little bit. So there's all little tricks that you can use to keep people lively. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. The bit that you had in the paper is probably the most demoralising thing that we've had this season, in my opinion. And I've got to build them up now, because there's some players there that, you know, players do get disappointed when people don't rate them, or after a couple of defeats want them out, or whatever it is. And we got some players here that have had some of your votes on the negative side, that have given the club everything. And it'll be disappointing for them, as it is for me, to see that, because there's 18 games gone. We've done well in all the cups. We had some great games leading up to the last 2 games, and then all of a sudden everybody wants to jump on that bandwagon of let's have a moan up, which is no problem. People can have a moan up, but you don't always expect it to go in the newspaper and have a poll to say who do you think should leave and who do you think should stay. My comments to you were generally, basically, no names. There weren't no names, as it was just a matter of saying some of them have only got a short amount of time up till, you know, the January thing to prove themselves, but they've still got time to prove themselves. I wouldn't expect them to be in the newspaper. You know. We've just done a poll downstairs of the staff as whether you're a good reporter, and nobody said yes and everybody said no, so you got 100% on that occasion.
It's not my opinion, obviously,
It's your opinion to ask the question and to put it in the paper, which, listen, it's your job, you've got to do what you want, but when you ask me the question, I've got to say to you how I motivate players. That is a big downer for players. Now, you know, supporters have got to support a team right to the end, right? Because those things don't help. It don't make people play any harder. So as a club, we might have to learn that we got to not be too high when it's going well and not be too low when it's not going well. Because what we know is, as we went from really good to really bad in a quick space of time, only over a couple of games, it can turn again.
Yeah.
And then what happens? All them people, we're going to have another poll, different people, and it's just how we all feel, and it's like that, and we've got to be a bit careful. We've got to go like that if we're going to move on as a club. Yeah.
Obviously, I take that on board, and I've got to move on to other questions now. But
no problem. Said what I need to say.
Is there anybody? You said after the game Saturday that you've got to judge who can and who can't play on the artificial. Is there anybody, for injury's sake, I know it's hard on knees and backs and ankles and so on, that you might have to be a bit more wary with because of the artificial pitch?
I think when you're talking publicly, of course, my answer's got to be everyone's available to play. I'll pick the team that I think is going to win the game, and there'll be several factors in that. As I say, that's why I'm having a good look at them over the week on AstroTurf, so that I can judge who's a bit timid in certain occasions because of the surface, or who's suddenly rose above it because they're more used to it. So that's really more what I'm looking for.
Have you seen the comments that Paul Doswell made earlier in the season about teams that were from the former league clubs in the National League not giving Sutton an awful lot of respect about how they think that they're a rollover, a pub side, because they've come up from the lower leagues? Is that something that you've got the Sutton manager?
Yeah, but I mean, I wonder.
I don't know who it was aimed at, but it was very early in the season.
Whether he's not, doing a bit of motivation for his own players, which sometimes is a clever way. But listen, if you go back through all our interviews, we respect every opposition because you have to. Again, because they've come up from division lower, they're on a good run of momentum because they've won most of their games, winning their league, and getting promoted, and they're doing okay, and they're certainly doing okay at home. I think if you look at their stats at home, they'd be, and all the home teams, the league table at home, and they'd be
one team that's won more games than the
there you go. They'll be right up there. So no, we'll respect them. Of course we will, and we'll respect their situation that they're playing on a surface that they're used to. That's what we've got to respect as well. So it'll probably come up with a few more things to put his team down, to make it, give them that sort of feeling of absolute underdogs and nothing to lose. Well, yeah, of course they're the underdogs, but how far are they away from us? Not many league positions. So we won't go there feeling we're a better team, a better club, a better anything. We'll go there to try and win the game to get through the next round.
How important is the warm-up going to be in getting to... Because Harry was in here talking about how the two pitches you've been on this week are different. How important is it going to be to get the sense of that pitch before the game starts, so you can know how it's going to behave?
I think we'll probably we might even go out a little bit earlier. But I've seen the pitch is very similar to what we've been training on. Very similar. It's a 3G pitch. There's not a lot of difference between 3G and 4G, but anyway, we've been on a 3G pitch. But it's sometimes they water it, but we might have to be careful with the ice and the snow, otherwise it will be Bambi on ice for everybody if we're then watering it and then we get the frost. But they'll know that, and they'll have the pitch perfectly right for their team, and that's why they've done so well. So credit to them.
Are you surprised by the amount of quality they've got on their side? People like Nicky Bailey, Craig Eastman, who have played Championship, Premier League, and one's even started Champions League.
Yeah, well, midfield lad Eastman, is it? Was at Arsenal, and everybody thought he was going to make it big. And they've got players around as well that I've worked with. I mean, Dean Beckwith, unfortunately for him, got sent off on the day the other night. But I've worked with Chapman. He was at Watford when I was there, and as a youngster. So I know Amankwa was with me at Yeovil. So I know a lot of these players. I've been in the game long enough now. I keep saying every team I come up against I've come up against players that have worked with me at some stage. So be interesting, but you try and put all the knowledge together to help your team get a result.
Cheers.
All right.